Well, we want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, to you, you, and you. We're welcoming you to the Tom Ford Fridays, where we have a men's barbershop conversation, and the ladies are butterflies on the wall. I'm your host, Pastor Jeff, and this room is brought to you, and this show is brought to you by none other than the beautiful one herself, Miss Murray. Oh, Miss Renee Noor of the Global Women Wealth Warriors and the GW3 Club on Clubhouse. And with that, I have on Clubhouse with me, and it looks like I may be solo here on the live, but that's quite all right. Just want you to be active in the chat on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And look, if you're on Facebook, please do us a favor. Go ahead, help us out with the algorithms and share and put some comments in. I'm a pastor, I'm a real life pastor. And so I want some call and response. Ladies, butterflies, you can respond. Just don't ask us any questions in the comments. Just make your comments, and then you can ask me questions later on. On YouTube, please subscribe to the Global Women Wealth Warriors Club, as well as like and comment so that more people can see and witness and take part in these much needed conversations. And with that, I'm going to go directly to the clubhouse, and I have my namesake there, and we're going to hold it down for right now. And that is none other than Jeffrey. How are you, Mr. Jeffrey Lubin?
How are you, Pastor Jeff? How you doing?
I'm
Good
doing well. Would
afternoon.
you take a moment to tell the people who you are and what you do?
Okay, my name is Jeffrey Lubin. I'm the president of the Jeff Lubin Group. I'm a consultant and fashion show producer and stylist. I've been in the industry for 20 years, worked in New York Fashion Week for over 13 years. I was here in South Florida. Me worked on over thousands of fashion shows. My company provide consulting where we help designers develop their business. Then we go into the sales department and help them get into stores or open online accounts. And my company owns two fashion weeks. Is one swim week that happens in Miami called Swim the Globe, and I have another one in Orlando that's called Afro Caribbean Fashion Week that we launched last March. And I'm a father of three kids and a husband. I've been married for 10 years. No, I'm sorry, for 8 years, and been with my wife for 12 years. I do have twin daughters from my first marriage, and they're 16-year-old twin girls. And I have a 5-year-old son that's starting kindergarten this year.
It sounds
And
like you have your hands full, not only at home, but even in your career with design. So we want to say thank you and welcome to the Tom Ford Fridays. We hope that this isn't the last time you're here. And when Pastor Terrence gets in, we'll go ahead and bring him in. I'm not sure if he's going to be joining us live because he is traveling. If he does, he'll be joining us um, from his vehicle. Otherwise, he'll be joining us here on the clubhouse. But with that, we're not going to prolong the show because Pastor Jeff has a lot of questions as I have surveyed the ladies. And so this is one of the questions the ladies would like to know, Jeffrey. And I'm going to put it in. They want to know about men's goals, about how we set goals. And I want to reframe it to this. Jeff, oftentimes ladies see potential in a man, and they want to mold that man and set goals for him. Jeff, what do you say to the ladies that want to operate on potential and set goals for the man?
mm, it's very interesting. When I met my wife, I was already into my career. I did not graduate high school and went to college to be in the fashion industry. And how I evolved into it. But I want to tell you a quick story. Okay. I have my cousin, Marsha, and her husband. They've been married for now maybe almost 20 years now. Okay. Now, Marshall, my cousin husband, always wanted to be a police officer, right? And I think he was doing security at the time, or he was doing odd jobs. And what my cousin done, which was I found very amazing, that she went and filled out the application. They saw that they was hiring cops. She filled out the application for him, and he got in. And now he's been with, he's an NYPC, NYPD cop. And, I mean, she's doing well, he's doing well. And when she told me that she done that, I thought that was so amazing that you have your wife that backs you up and, um, took the initiative for you to do that. Now, some guys might get offended. I don't know what's your opinion about that, Pastor Jeff, but I thought that was amazing. And he didn't get offended. He was like, thank you for pushing. And sometimes some guys need a push, but it's a certain way you can um, motivate and help him take the initiative.
You know,
I'm done.
you bring up a good point about your cousin Marshall, and I would like to ask you another question before I'm going to tell you my opinion, but
Marshall.
I want to dive into that a little bit deeper because it can go one of two ways, and want to ask your perspective. If that's a pattern that continues, do you think that that is beneficial for the relationship, or does it somewhat emasculate the man?
I'm not in their home, okay?
Mhm.
But they've been happily married for over 20 years, and he's the man of the house. He's
Okay.
there. Uh, I don't think he felt um, emasculated. Every couple dynamic is different, right? Is Pastor Jeff? I don't know if you agree with me. What works at your house might not work at my house.
Absolutely.
Uh, it's every couple dynamic is that. I think she did that not to um disrespect him. He didn't say, "Hey, when are you gonna do it?" you know she just help him take the initiative and do it. So I think it's a way how to do it. It's a way how you speak to the person, right? It's like I said, it's a certain way that you have to understand your husband or your boyfriend and figure out, I think ladies know our trigger points
Mhm.
and know what can like upset us. And you know so it's I think a technique with that. I don't know if I'm making sense or not,
You're
Pastor
making
Jeff.
you're making good sense, Jeffrey. The thing is that you brought up the point about him being the man, and what it sounds like to me, without getting deep, and we're going to take it away from your cousin Marshall and just talk about men and women in general. But what it sounds like to me is that Marshall's wife was able to continue to give him honor, continue to respect him while knowing what his goal was and supporting him. So from my perspective, I don't see that as a lady who sees potential and wants to mold the man into what she wants him to be. Say he wanted to be a a policeman, and she decided that he needed to be a mid-level manager in sales, and so she would be pushing him into that, which would be something that he didn't want to do. So I think, Jeffrey, that it's important that if a woman wants to support and she wants to uplift her man, that she finds a way to do that with honor and with respect, and so that he will appreciate it. But the moment that man feels disrespected or he feels like he's being forced into something, I think that really becomes a negative, creates a negative impact on the relationship for both, because she may lose respect for him as his significant other or as his wife, and he may begin to resent her. What do you think about that, Jeff?
Yeah, that can happen. That can happen. It can. And I've been married. My relationship. is not perfect. You know, we have our ups and downs. And you know, before I got married, I was traveling all over the place. I was in and out. Um, like if I have a client that say, "Hey Jeffrey, we need to go to California tomorrow," no problem. Pack my bags and I'm gone. Right? If I have to, um, I was a fashion editor for a few years, for like 3 magazines at one time for a publishing company. I cannot do that now, right? I cannot just pack my bags and leave, right? You know, I have like kids and everything like that. And you know, sometimes I do miss it, but again, you know, you have sacrifice, you know, in a marriage, in a relationship. You have to sacrifice. So, um, you know, it's you know, I'm not resentful, right? But you know, I do miss it. But
Okay.
I mean, I think she understand that now, and she was always supportive. She never Jeffrey not never go. You know, like I said, I'm in the fashion industry. I work with beautiful women. I travel all over the world. Again, I work with beautiful women all over, but I make sure that I make her feel confident that I'm all about her. I don't really mix business and pleasure. I never dated the models that I work with. I always kept that separated, um, you know, from my personal and my business life. Personal, Jeffrey, I'm a very cool, nice guy. Um, Jeffrey Lubin Group, I'm straight business. It's all about what my clients want. And she see both sides. So, you know, that's the situation now with that. I'm done. Thank you. Hopefully, I'm making sense.
Absolutely, you are. I want to ask you a question from the perspective, and we see Pastor Terrence has joined us. We're bringing him up to the stage, and as he gets in, the question is from your perspective. The ladies also want to know, and I want to go back to something that you talked about a little bit later. But the ladies also want to know about money moves, and so from your perspective, with a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, who controls the money?
My wife is better with money than I am. Okay, I have my strong points. She have her strong points. Okay, so I let her with the direction. She's like let's say for the house, we financing the house and everything like that. My wife is a lawyer. Okay, she was a foreclosure lawyer for a few years. She represented the bank, right? She was the one that was taking jobs. So she understood all the dynamics of refinancing and know all the rules, tricks, or stuff. You know, it's all about knowledge, right? And I'll let her take the lead. Now she deals with insurance.
Mhm.
She represent the plaintiffs for the home insurance. You know how that is. When
Right.
you try to make a claim, they make you go around in circles, play tricks so they don't have to pay, right? So if I have any situation with the house, like I need to change um my pipes now, right? My cast iron pipes that we have in our house. And if I need to deal with the insurance, I'm gonna have her give the lead when it comes to that. Now everything else, I take control of. And again, it's a decision. If I want to go ahead and buy another house, another property, I'll let her know about it, and we go from there, and vice versa. I'm done.
Thank you, Jeff. So it sounds like what I heard you say is that in your household, all right, and you only spoke for your household, is that the two of you look to who has a wheelhouse or who is strong in whatever area that they're strong in, and that's who handles that area.
Yeah, exactly. If she's strong, like I said, if she's smarter than me at a certain thing, I'm gonna let her take the lead,
Okay.
right? Like if I have a business, right? I have a business partner, okay, and she's a woman. Certain things in production it's all about me. I take the lead. Okay. I'll lead a meeting when it comes to production. And when it comes to sales or negotiation, she's better than negotiating than I am. So she'll take the lead on negotiating. So we're back and forth. We complement each other. Okay. But that's my household, and the dynamic between me and my business partner. Now we might, clash in certain things, but it's like if you're working, like I'm working with you, um, Pastor Chef, and if I need to consult somebody spiritually, right,
Mhm.
and somebody have a problem, you know, I can go from what I do by reading and my relationship with God, right? But if it's like a deep situation that I feel like that's over my let me say my skill,
Right.
right? Like if I need to bring the big guns, I'm gonna call you Pastor Chef. I
Okay.
mean Pastor Jeff, I'm sorry. And so that's the relationship with us.
Well, that makes great sense. I'm going to go ahead. I see that Mac Tight has come into the room on Clubhouse. I wish you all could see Mac Tight. And Pastor Terrence is in the room. So I'm going to go over to Mac Tight. If you're able to speak, go ahead and flash your mic on Clubhouse. All right, Mac Tight, we'll come to you. If you go ahead and tell all of our listeners here on Clubhouse, as well as those that are on Facebook and YouTube, and we want you to go ahead and put some black and white hearts for Tom Ford Friday and for these men who are being vulnerable in this barbershop conversation. We coming out of our cave to talk while the ladies are butterflies. So, Mac Tight, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then our question is, in a relationship, from your opinion, for it comes to money, who makes the money decisions? Mike, over to you, Mac Type.
Hey, I appreciate that introduction, Pastor Jeff. First and foremost, happy Friday to everybody, GW3 family. It's great to be here. Me, myself, Mac Joker, CEO of Mac Tight Entertainment, Mac Tight Radio, and host of the Ready to Learn show and podcast. With respect to the question, let's see. I think everybody's different. To each is their own when it comes to relationship and the finances. Me personally, my experience, I'm pretty good with the finances. I like to, I like to consider myself an organ, organized individual, and so I like being on top of everything when it comes to finances. But again, every relationship is different. I like the answer that I think Jeffrey had said before. So you just appeal, I guess, to each relationship and who's better at that.
All right. Thank
I
you, Mac
yield the
Type.
mic.
We're
Yes,
going to
sir.
go over to Pastor Terrence. Welcome, Pastor Terrence, to Tom Ford Fridays. We want you to tell everybody who you are, what you do. And the question right now in the barbershop is, when it comes to money moves, who decides where it goes? Pass it over to you, Pastor Terrence. Are you able to speak, Pastor Terrence? All right. So he's traveling. He may not be able to speak. So we want to go back to something that Jeffrey said, and that is the fact that Jeff, you said you work with a lot of ladies, and that could bring up an issue. You've already shared with us that in your relationship it doesn't, but from a man's perspective, let's be honest here. Some women can't handle a man who is around a whole lot of pretty women or around a whole lot of women, period. And so, what do you say to that man, or what do you say to that woman? More importantly, what do you say to that woman whose husband has to be around a lot of ladies, pretty or otherwise, for his job? How does she handle that jealousy or that potential for jealousy? Over to you, Jeff.
Okay. I've been in the industry for 20 years. Okay. And when I got into the industry, I was dating uh, I had a girlfriend when I started out in the industry. And when I was starting out, I was making a name of myself. Um, and, in our industry, we have to go out. It's a very social event. And, I'm here in Miami. Miami, you know, functions would end at 5 a.m. in the morning. And, I'm out networking. It's finishing at 3 a.m. And my girlfriend at the time had a big problem with it. And, our relationship didn't work out. And after that, I'm like, okay, anything in the future, I have to let the person I'm courting or I'm dating everything up front, right? I'm like, you have to let them know up front. You have to set that up at the beginning. And you'll be tested at the beginning. If I'm out networking, I'll invite you. You'll see what I do.
Okay.
And like if I'm backstage and I'm producing a show, I'm with 30, 40 models, right? They're undressing right in front of me. But I don't even have time to focus. I'm so worrying about the production, the executing, the cueing, the lighting. I'm in charge of hair and makeup, stagehand. Sometimes in my production, I have over 300 people I have to worry about, okay? So you see I'm actually working. And another dynamic about me is that I have four best friends, 4 or 5, and one of them passed away last year.
Our condolences.
Yes, thank you. Uh, 2 of them are girls. 2 of them I met. They've been my best friends since high school, since I was in the 10th grade. As a matter of fact, one of them is my twin daughter godmother.
Okay.
And moreover, 2 of them was my bridesmaids at my wedding. And that's another dynamic. But at the beginning, I set that up. I'm saying, listen, I have 2 female friends. They are my best friends. They come with me over when my best friend Kareen mom has dinner over Thanksgiving. First I go to my house and then I go over my, Kareen mother house. I've been doing that for years. She's Jamaican. So, I love some Jamaican food.
I hear
So
you.
she's throwing it down. I get my jerk chicken, my ackee and saltfish, and I like to eat. So, but she's coming with me. The
Okay.
wife comes with me. As a matter of fact, my wife and my best friend go out. But it's boundaries. You got to be respectful. Like my best friend, she's married. One of them is married, and I'm not gonna call her at 10 o'clock at night. Okay, or she's not gonna call me at 10 p.m. You have to be you have to be respectful. So, but you establish that at the beginning. And if you have a problem with it, then you cannot date me. That was my attitude. Now, I had some women I was dating. I cannot handle that. I
Okay.
cannot handle it. And I'm like, okay, respectively, hey, and I'm not gonna force you to be with me, but this is the situation. And at that time, I was traveling a lot. I was home maybe 1 week out the month. So
All
I'm done.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And we're going to go over to Mac Tight. Mac Tight, the same question. What would you say to a spouse or to a lady that you were dating, or ladies in general? How should they deal with that potential jealousy if their better half or their husband has to work with a lot of women? How about it, Mac?
Good question. Good question. First, I would question each insecurity if there's any insecurity issues. Secondly, I would just say I will work hard to making that queen. It's just all about making sure that she is on a different pedestal, a different level, so to speak, than the other females that you're around. So I think it's some reinforcement, and that can come from conversation, actions, doing certain things. But it's communication is key. You got to communicate, and just that reinforcement that person is, that who you want to be with, and only that person. So
So,
I
Mac,
yield the mic.
if
Yes.
women were listening, just think, if I mean, just hypothetically, if women
Okay.
were listening, What is it when you talk about that security? I like that piece of dealing with her insecurities. What would that sound like if women were listening? How would that go?
Well, with respect to the insecurities, just you. That's why I feel it's a team, it's a joint effort, meaning that the man on the myself, you have to put that reinforcement, put that that she is beautiful, that she is a queen, whether that's spending time, quality time, just talking, things of that nature. I think it becomes a problem a lot of times is when the man or the female begins to spend a lot more time with work, or the people that they're working with, as opposed to home. So that's when I think that reinforcement of being together, wanting to be together, just being on the same page. That's why that communication is key. You got to communicate, but just reinforcing that she is beautiful, that all the things in the beginning that jump started the relationship. Sometimes you got to reinforce it throughout.
Okay, I'm going to go back and address that in a moment. But Mac, I want to ask you one more question. Jeff brought up a point about setting boundaries, and so are from your opinion, are those boundaries set up by the man, or are they set up by his wife or his significant other, or do they sit down and work out those boundaries together?
That's a joint. I think that's a joint effort. If you're going to be together, you got to take in the other person's feelings, their perspective. So yeah, it's a joint. That's a
All
joint
right.
effort.
I have one more question. If I see Steve is with us, we're glad to have him with us here. I don't know if he's joining us on the live or
Hey,
not,
Pastor
but we
Jeff.
do have him here as well. Pastor Terrence, are you able to chime in yet?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. We need you a little bit louder and tell everybody who you are, what you do, and
Okay.
if you've heard the question, you can go ahead and answer it as we're talking about
Okay.
now. How do you have a conversation with a spouse or girlfriend, significant other, if you work with a lot of ladies? Over to you,
Oh
Terrence.
man. Wow. That is an excellent question. And I'm hoping that my sound is clear. I am actually in the back of the car riding with the wife again, the butterfly on the wall. Can you hear me
Uh
real
oh.
clear, Jeff? All right. She's the butterfly driving the car today.
Okay.
And so that is a security and an insecurity factor in a relationship.
Mhm.
That is a security and insecurity factor in most relationships. Now, the way that I deal with that, right? Because my wife, she knows that I work with a lot of women and I am constantly around a lot of women. But however, here's what I do to secure my wife in that situation. I bring my wife around those women. I introduce my wife as the queen. I introduce my wife as my security guard. And
Mm.
so I give all those things as a consideration of making my wife and ensuring my wife that she's the one and only, and there's no one else but her that matters most, and that this situation is only the situation that I'm in only because it is business to provide, not to compromise what we do, but to provide things that we do in our family, which so that I can take care of my family. And so that is the security factor. The insecurity is when my wife senses the motives of those women that are around me, and she picks up on some what I call, Jeff, we're driving right now. She picked up on some things that says objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
I
Yeah.
That now
like
that
that.
that was a good one right there, Pastor Terrence. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
Oh, wow, that's a
That's a
good
good
one
security
right
guard.
there.
I'm just keeping it real on this barbershop Friday, and when she senses that an object in my mirror is closer than it appears, she begins to ask questions, even the questions that I don't even know if that what that person is thinking. I don't know. So I say, well, sweetie, here's what we'll do. We'll play it from a distance and you stay close by me. You be there every time I'm there so that if you see something I don't see, then you let me know. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to trip. I might trip if you start asking me questions over and over again, but I'll trip back in place and say, hey, baby, listen, now let's talk about this. Let's sit down and let's talk about this. Is this relationship, uh, is this a business relationship, or do you think this is more personal? And we define the relationships because there can be some insecurities in that if a woman in a business relationship appears to want to be my side chick or my girlfriend or try to take the place of the wife. I'm out before I
Pastor
get
Terrence,
shot.
that right there was hot. The security guard and objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Sounds like the mirror either is going to get wiped off or adjusted. With that one, I could take that in several different directions, but because of the time, we're going to go ahead and recognize Steve on the stage. I think is he still on the stage? Nope, Steve isn't on the stage. So we actually, so we can go ahead. And so I want to go back and ask the gentleman, and we'll start with Jeff, and we'll make these a little bit succinct. And that is, Jeff, your perspective of what's in a relationship, what is security, the security that you believe a man should provide for a woman? What is the security you believe a man should provide for a woman? Jeff, go ahead. How about it? What do you what is the security you believe a man should provide a woman?
Finance, um, secure emotionally, and that you're gonna be responsible. I think that's the main thing. Um,
Now, what was
you
your
know,
third thing? I got the finance, I got emotional, and what was your third thing?
yeah, I said, yeah, emotionally and financially, and to be responsible.
Responsible. Okay.
Yes, and I think this the main thing. Um, again, every dynamic is different, and the relationship's going to get tested, right? You're going to have a situation that you guys don't both agreed on. I might have one take of something, and she has another take of it, and I pray through it. Um, it's going to be certain situations. It could be certain family dynamics, that happens. A kink that comes in. Um, situations with the in-laws, and you'll get tested. So, you got to pray through that. And, that's with that. I really believe, that God provided my wife. When I met her, I was not looking for anyone at that time. Okay. And she wasn't looking for anybody. And we found each other.
Wow,
So
that's
I
beautiful.
think, yeah, so I'm very strong with that, with my faith. And I think that's what's important. And also to piggyback with, is it Pastor Terrence or Pastor Davis? Right? Is,
Pastor
you have
TJ.
TJ, okay, Pastor TJ, is to, again, you have to provide secure and assure. You have to assure. I have to assure my wife that she's the one. And you have to basis. And I think it goes both ways. You have to do constant reminders. Although I'm married for, 8 years, we've been together for 12, but you still need to have insurance, constant insurance. And some people need it more than ever. You got to let her know, hey, she's beautiful, and you have to do things. You can't be relaxed, right? And sometimes when I'm in production, like right now, I'm in a planning period. But when I'm in production mode, my full focus is in production, you know, and things I need to get done in the house, I need to take care of. Sometimes I might miss it. But after I'm done with the production, right, I take her to a nice restaurant. I buy her a gift or I send her flowers because I know, when I'm in my production or if I'm traveling, I'm not there all the time. So, we have to constantly assure and secure. And I think that's what's important. But I would love to get your take on that, Pastor Jeff
All right,
and
absolutely.
Pastor PJ
I'm gonna go
on
around to
that
the other
too. Bring
gentleman.
that question to you. And I think Steve is here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go around to the other gentleman, and then I'm gonna give my take on that one. Let's go to Steve. Steve, welcome to Tom Ford Fridays. Please tell everybody very quickly, who you are, what you do, and our question is right now is what is your definition of the security that a man should provide for his girlfriend or for his wife? Yeah, passing over to you, Steve.
Thank you so much, Pastor. This is Steve Johnson, Director of West Marketing, and we are in GW3 Global Club today. And I'm sorry about that because my network was open, so I could not enter the studio. And now, right now, I'm live here with you. I'm glad that I could do that. Thank you so much. And the question goes to me, and yeah, of course, what is that we're going to provide to our ladies for security? First is the emotional security. Emotionally, you have to definitely be there and listen to them. That's one of the best things you do when you are a good listener. And try to communicate. Communication is the best way to get the things out if they have something going in their mind. And that definitely will let you know that, yes, this is what she is looking for. And probing, that's the best thing. When you probe, you ask, you get your answers, you try to do that and fulfill their needs, desires, and provide them love, care, respect, and also the security of their financial thing. And when that happens, when you have a good bond with a person, when you understand each other, there should be a great understanding that provides a great security. Because when you understand somebody, suppose we are students in a class, a teacher is teaching us, and what happens, the guy or girl who understands well is the best one. Same way, you got to be like that teacher, you got to be that like that guy, you got to be like that student. You have to play all the roles. So whatever they're looking for, you got to provide that. And what is the harm in that when you have tolerance, endurance, you have patience? So what else they need? They need care, they need pampering, they need the love, they need the respect, main thing. The respect is one thing what brings up a lot in a relationship. And when you respect a person, when you take care of them, no matter it's small, nobody is looking for the airplanes. Nobody is looking for these so big things. What the heart, it is pure, and it's very clean. And what it needs, doesn't need any material thing. If you give love first, then you are satisfied. So that's the best security, if you provide love, care, and respect. Thank you so much. Over to you, Pastor Jeff.
All right, you summed it up with love, care, and respect. You put a whole lot into those, a lot of ingredients there, Steve. And so we thank you for that. We're going to go over to Pastor Terrence. Pastor Terrence, your definition, in your opinion, of what security is that a man provides for his wife or for his girlfriend.
All right. I'm back. So the definition that I would give for the security factor would start with, it would have everything to do with the ethics of the affix of re, re, re. And what I mean by putting the re in the front of it is that reassurance. In order for us to relate to each other, we must be able to reassure each other. So the assurance is not stronger than the reassurance. So that's a continuous thing that we must have to do every single day, every single moment. I'll say every single moment that the opportunity that presents itself is to reassure, reaffirm, restore anything that's broken, rebuild those things that we need to, that was torn down in the relationship. And then the X factor is to continue to relive the positive things and the things that I would say the accomplishments that we accomplished in our relationship. So that's my definition, Pastor Jeff.
All right, thank you, Pastor TJ. Came with the R's, the restore, the renew, and we appreciate that. Before we go to Mac Tight, I just want to say again, we want to appreciate all of our supporters, those on Clubhouse, those on Facebook, as well as those on YouTube. Please go ahead and put some more black and white hearts in the chat, in the comments if you're on Facebook or on YouTube. And if you have a question, that you would like Pastor Jeff to ask, not right now, but at a later show, go ahead and put it in the comments, and I will put that in my database of questions from the butterflies. And if you have a question, gentlemen, that you believe that would be beneficial to all of the gents in the barbershop, go ahead and put that in as well, and we'll do our best to get to that in one of the segments. Now, we want to say thank you, the chat on Facebook as well as YouTube. We want to say thank you to Miss Valerie Brown, to Miss Von Bell, who are tearing the chat up. And with that, on Clubhouse, go ahead and put some black and white hearts into those comments. And if you haven't already, share the room. And if you did already, share it out again. Let some folks know, hey, Pastor Jeff is in here talking in the GW3 Global with the other gents. And we are answering those questions that women want to know. With that, Mac Tight, what is your definition of what a man should provide in the way of security for his wife or for his girlfriend?
I love the question too. Great question. In my opinion, I think the foundation, and the foundation is that mind, body, and soul, and that mind being having the right mindset for the relationship or whatever you're trying to achieve. As a couple, the body, just protection, health. Health is wealth, and that soul is just laying down the spiritual foundation for that relationship.
All right. Thank you, Mac. And so Jeff said he wanted me to answer the question, and absolutely I'm going to answer it. First of all, the question again, for those who may just be tuning in, is we're asking each of the gentlemen what is their definition of the security a man should provide for his wife or his girlfriend. Now, first of all, Pastor Jeff is going to make a difference between the girlfriend and the wife. I believe that there's a difference in the security that you provide for a girlfriend than what you provide for the wife, because the girlfriend doesn't get the wife privileges that the wife gets. She wants to become a wife, then she can get wife privileges. Now, with that being said, I believe that the first thing that my job as a man to do is provide the basic needs according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And make sure that she has a secure place to lay her head at night, and that she doesn't have to worry about somebody breaking in. So, shelter, need to provide shelter. Need to provide
As if I'd
necessities.
like to Pastor, I'd like to interrupt in between because these days,
Steve, let Pastor Jeff finish.
all right,
You can't cut me
go
off.
ahead.
You know I'm almost 63 years old, Steve. You can't cut me off in the middle of I'm on a roll. I'll be to forgot what I was saying, Steve.
All right, go ahead,
So,
Pastor. Okay.
all righty. So Pastor Jeff, Steve said, Pastor Jeff, if I can interrupt you. Hold on now. So first of all, we're going to provide the necessities of life. We're going to make sure that she has a shelter. Then we're going to make sure that she has clothing. All right, we're going to make sure that she has things to protect herself when she goes out against the elements. Of course, we're going to provide food. I'm not talking about a can of beanie weenies either. Needs more than that to make sure that she can be healthy. And once we get to those basic needs, then Pastor Jeff believes that we need to sit down. And it's amazing how every show that we have, we come back to this word communication. I need to ask my wife, what is security for her? And the reason I need to ask that is she may have grown up with abandonment issues. Maybe her dad wasn't in her life. And so she has a different set of security needs than someone else who had both their mother and their father. She may have a financial security because she grew up poor and she wants to make sure that she always has adequate money. And so I think it's important then that the man, the husband, sit down, have this conversation with his wife so he understands what she believes and what she defines as her security needs so that he can make sure, he can ensure that he is checking those blocks off. As we go back to what Jeff said, is that if, and Pastor Terrence, if there's a lack in that security area and you are working around a lot of women, then that potential for jealousy is going to rise higher. And it may not even be the fact that you're working around a lot of women, it's that she doesn't even have her basic security needs met. And so that bleeds over into her perception of perhaps that you're providing something for other women that you're not providing for her. With that, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
Thank you so much, Pastor Jeff. As you mentioned that, women need the money and all. I guess these days, all the women are queens and they have everything, what they want. But what's lacking these days, that is love, care, respect. Now, relationship security, having complete confidence that your partner is there for you, and not just sometimes. It means that you struggles, and fears are not your own to bear. So I know that, girls, adolescents, young women, and vulnerable groups can all feel safe without fear of danger that could cause physical, psychological, or mental harm. So if that is there, if you're not doing those all things, so honoring is what is important to you, sharing personal information gradually, protecting your time by not overcommitting. You overcommit something, so that would be one of the things that creates a concern. Then asking for the space when you need alone time, that's fine. But then if there is not, cheating, there is no lying, there is no playing in the relationship, what other security you need? If you're going out, you're going out, and your lady is a girlfriend or lady is confident on that, you're not going to do any cheating or lying or anything like that. So what then in the relationship happens when the emotional needs of both partners are met. So these needs will vary from couple to couple. It depends. Some, this could mean medium long-term goals like getting married. Yeah, sometimes a living relationship. Sometimes you are just partners. So depends upon every details, like not judging your partner. And if they are having a bad day, you could ask what's happening, non-innocent nagging. As earlier I mentioned, and spend the night cuddling. Sex is great, but sometimes a girl just needs, a good cuddle. So bring her treats, definitely, physical gestures, kiss her, text her, and take care whenever she is in trouble, when she needs you. That's it. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Steve talked about that cuddling. And I'm going to get into cuddling right now, but I do want to ask this question to all of you kings. Have you ever been in a relationship? Have you ever been in a relationship to where the lady that you were in the relationship with was present, but you felt abandoned? Let me ask that one more time. Have you ever been in a relationship and the lady was present, but you felt abandoned? Jeff, how about it?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. She was present, but you felt abandoned.
She was present. She was there. She may have been fixing food, but her body was there, but you felt abandoned.
Yeah, you know, like I'm not an easy person to be with, right? So, you know, if she's upset, you know, there's a way she could be there and just cut you off coldly. You know, you try to hug her and she's like, "Oh no, I don't feel like hugging right now." I don't know if you mean in that way.
Yeah, how does explain to us the emotional roller coaster of that you go through in that instance. So you're being cut off.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and finish.
Sometimes they don't tell you right away. You know, sometimes my wife do not tell me right away. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the question I ask is, okay, what have I done? Or what I am not doing. What have I done or what I am not doing? So I'll go into that details, but I might not get that answer that day. I might get the next day. You know, I'm type of person that, hey, listen, let me know how you feel right there and then. And I don't know what's that, but you know, let me know how you know, I'm like, hey, let's deal with it right now. She's not like that. She might need a day to express herself. So I have to be patient. I have to give her space. And, you know, we go on from there.
We appreciate that, Jeff. And so I'm going to take it. Your answer is yes, that you have had that opportunity as you have shared. I'm going to go to Mac Tight. Mac Tight, how about it? Have you ever been in a relationship with a woman? She was present, but you felt abandoned.
To be honest, no, I have not. And the only reason being, I make sure that foundation that I spoke about earlier is there. That, you know, that if those three things if we're not connected, then I don't even waste time in, you know, getting involved in a relationship. So
okay, good answer. I like that. We'll go over to Steve. Steve, very quickly now, Steve. You haven't been in a relationship with the woman, Steve. She was there present, but you felt abandoned.
Situations, those things happen time to time because relationships are not only the good things all the time. There are times when you get silent because you do some action or you are stressed out and you don't want to talk about something and you feel like that. Yes, sometimes it happens. It's natural, and we should not. This is kind of a trigger in our mind, and we should not, more emphasize on that, and we should not talk about that one. Just give them some time. It's okay. Let them just, because mood swings are there when women are on periods. So definitely mood swings are there. So you have to understand, and that's okay. No problem with, yeah, it happens sometimes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And we're going to go to Pastor TJ. Pastor TJ, have you ever been in a relationship with a woman and she was there present, but you felt abandoned?
Oh, man. I'm thinking about this thing. Shoot. My wife is saying what? I'm on the other line. She's saying what? Jeff, she's right here beside me. Can you hear me?
I don't know if anybody else is having a little trouble hearing you. Your volume is a little bit low on my end.
What about now, Jeff?
Oh, much better. Much better.
Okay, yeah. I gotta get this take. Okay. So yeah, I believe that for me personally, I have felt abandoned when we have disagreements.
Mm.
I can't say that I never felt that way. I felt abandoned because we had disagreements, but when it goes for days and weeks, then the abandonment kicks in. But that's not my situation. And so what I do know personally, that the days and the weeks don't happen because I'm constantly engaging. I'm constantly engaging in some way or form of even doing something, whether it's non-verbally. The most of all, I do a lot of non-verbal stuff just so that we can stay and remain engaged. So yes, I have felt that way, but at the same time, I understand that, you know, women and men need their space. So
Well, thank you, Pastor Terrence, Pastor TJ. Oh, I got something swallowed the wrong way. And so, the thing is for me, what I heard Jeff say is that he started to question. He wanted to know what it was that he had done wrong or what it was that he didn't do. And I think that that's a common question for men when we begin to feel when our mate is there physically, but it seems that she's abandoned us because the communication has been broken. And I think one of the things that we should consider as men that we don't because we think like men because we are men is that if your wife is going through a period of depression, it may have nothing to do with us. It could just be that depression that she's going through. And while she doesn't even recognize the fact that she has abandoned you emotionally, she has. And so we process. So go back to what Mac Tight said that communication is key. And to be able to say, hey, sweetie, what's going on? What are you dealing with? Because you seem distance. All right. And engage in that conversation to kind of probe, as Steve said earlier, to find out what's going on because now you're experiencing behavior that you normally don't experience. With that, gentlemen, we are coming to the top of the hour. Well, not the top of the hour. We're coming to an hour on the live. And so we're going to have to close this down until next week. We're going to bring this back to the clubhouse here in just a few moments. But I'd like to say to all of those on our Facebook, on our YouTube, we absolutely want to thank you for supporting us on this Friday, the 18th of the 16th. I'm moving all the way to Sunday, the 16th of September. Look at here. Pastor Jeff wants to tell you in the event nobody else has told you yet today, you have an absolutely beautiful smile. Look here. If you don't believe me, go smile in the mirror. That's right. Find yourself a mirror, smile in the mirror. Your rear view mirror, your compact mirror, your bathroom mirror, your hallway mirror. I just don't care. Find yourself a mirror. Smile at yourself. Pastor Jeff guarantees you yourself is going to smile back. Take that as your creator smiling at you. And now go share that smile with all the folks you come in contact with. Because if you didn't know it, smiles are contagious. Look, we absolutely love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Please tune in next week, the same time, right here, Clubhouse on YouTube, as well as on Facebook. Remember, this is brought to you by none other than the beautiful one herself, Miss Renee Noor, the curator and creator, founder of the GW3 Club on Clubhouse, as well as the Global Women Wealth Warriors. I'm Pastor Jeff, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Hey guys, while we're getting ready to close out the live show, let's give it up for Pastor Jeff as well as the guys. Come on, guys. Woo, 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 woo. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's give it up for the guys. We have a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're going to get through it. I see Miss Janet Alvarado. I also see Steve here, as well as we see some of the other gents, Mr. Jeffrey. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Jeff.
Yeah, we're just waiting for him to close the live out. It's still live.
Hey, Jeff, alongside with Jeff, two Jeffs in the house. Can you guys continue on with the conversation, Jeff? Right now, we are in a little bit of a challenge with technical, but we're going to get through it. Are you all, if you guys enjoyed today's show, please, can we hear your voices in the clubhouse? If you enjoyed the show today, let me hear your voices in the clubhouse.
Yes, yes. For Fridays. Love you guys.
Well, we'll just continue the show. The live is still going, so we'll continue on the live until we can shut it down. We'll end. So we're still live and we're still on Clubhouse at the very present time. And with that, go ahead, Jeff. You unmic.
Do they ask us questions on this, or is this between us guys today?
No, right now it's still us. It's still the gents. It's the guys. Normally, what we do is on the live. We are on there for an hour. Right now, the live hasn't gone to the commercial and closed down, so we're still live on Clubhouse as well as on Facebook, as well as on YouTube. So, to the YouTube community, to the Facebook community, you got Pastor Jeff just a little bit longer. Now, I don't know when it's going to shut down, but when it does, I've already told you that we'll see you on next week. And so we're going to go ahead back to the Clubhouse. And on the Clubhouse, we're going to ask this question. Gentlemen, how important is it for a man to have a secret man cave? How important, and this is a two-part question, how important is it for a man to have a secret man cave? And if it is important, why? Go ahead and start with you, Jeff. How important is it for a man to have a secret man cave? And if it is, why?
I think at one time, me and my wife, we went to like a couple retreat at a ministry. It was a couple ministry, and they expressed that we need to have our own space sometimes, right? Is either if you're at your own living room, you're watching sports, or also for your wife. I think it's very important that we need like our space sometimes, because if not, I think we're gonna go crazy. You need to have a peace of mind. And let me tell you a story. My father, he had a man cave. He had a music room. It was off the house. We had like an addition partial of a house, in our yard. And I never got into that room until I was in my late 30s.
Wow.
I never got in that room. And I went in that room. He had his sound system. He had his records. And he had a lounge chair. That was his secret music room. Okay. And that's where he goes to have a peace of mind, to get away. And I think it's very important. I think it is. I think for both couples, sometimes you need some time for yourself. And sometimes I have to remind my wife. I'm like, listen, remember what they said at the couple ministry? Do not call me. Hey, you need a glass of water. Listen, I need like an hour to myself. Just an hour. And then I'm all yours after. And sometimes she's like, oh, Jeff, I won't call you again. But she calls me again. And, I get a little irritated. That she's upset. And then I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, baby. And, this is like our thing, right? And
Are you still with us, Jeff? All right, we seem to have lost Jeff's audio there. We're going to go to Steve. Steve, it's an important for a man to have a secret place. And if so, why?
Pastor Jeff, I don't think so. A man needs a secret place or a man cave. Yeah, maybe a small, room in the house for maybe playing a game or on computer or use things and listen to music or do things like that. But I don't think so. A man needs a cave because if your partner is there, and if you please your partner and you together, you can do a lot many things together, which is going to bring so many good things to the relationship. Yes, a man doesn't need a cave, for sure. Caves are for the people who are hiding, who are, cheating, who are lying. So a liar needs a cave. A cheater needs a cave, right? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Steve, for that perspective. And we're going to go to, is Mac Tight still with us? No, Mac left us, as well as it looks like Terrence left us as well. And so I guess I'll answer that question. I think it depends on the man. Research has said that uh, men need to have a space that they can go and unwind, especially those who are in the workforce. When they leave from work, they need a space to transition from the person they are on the job to either being a spouse or being a spouse and a father. And so we typically call that place the man cave. I have a mentee who has a shed, and so he will go out to his shed to get away. And I think contrary to what Stephen, we're all entitled to our opinion. But I believe that that's a good place for men to be able to go to unwind, to deal with the pressures that they deal with, and on those things that they want to process that may seem too petty to talk to the wife about, that they can go and kind of, throw those things off or figure out or talk to their mentor and get some advice from another man on that situation, and then be in the spot to be able to deal with it from an intelligent perspective when they talk to their spouse. And so I think the man cave is good. And sometimes it may need to be secret. And that is if the wife does not respect the man when he goes into the man cave and wants to continue to come in and get attention, and then it may have to be a secret place that you can go where you absolutely can unwind and take that time to yourself. You know, the ladies don't want the men going with them when they go. In the most cases, now there are some ladies that will take their husbands with them, and they get their pedicures together, and they get the massage together, and they well, I don't know. Well, some men are getting their nails done, but I think that's a time that ladies go out and hang out with their girlfriends, or they go out and they do it on their own and they take that time. So men need that time as well. And with that, we're going to, since we've got about 12 minutes left, we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the show back over. Well, we're not, because we're still live.
Yeah.
I was going to
So
turn it back over to the ladies, but we can't turn it back over to the ladies yet because we're
I apologize, Pastor Jeff. I had to take this call. So but
okay.
I'm back.
All right, thank you. So go ahead and you can finish what you were saying.
No, I mean exactly. It's very important that we give each other space sometimes. Sometimes, I'm in my business and I'm, trying to figure something out and it's a problem and I need space. And and it's very important. We cannot even for myself too as well. We cannot be selfish, right? And I love my wife and again you have to ensure, but sometimes we need our space. When I move to a bigger house, hopefully I'll have my own man cave.
All right.
And like the situation with my dad, it was like a place that you don't go by, and it's just crazy. Like I will be taking his records. He has a great like jazz and classical um collection, records. So I'm taking all these records and I'm gonna make my own man cave. So that what I'll be doing. I'm done. Thank you.
That sounds good. So I'm going to go to the next question, and that is we're talking about money moves. We've talked about commitment. We've talked about goal setting, want to talk about workout because we need to be physically in shape. We need to be physically in shape. And so the question I want to ask the gentleman, when it comes to working out, do we work out together or do we work out separate? Or do we have a workout that we do together and a workout that we do separate? Jeff, coming right back to you. How about it when it comes to working out? How do you suggest we do
it? We work out separate. Yeah, we work out separate. We try to do that. It didn't work out. And
what happened, Jeff? Let's tell us, Jeff. Tell us what happened.
Well, I mean, listen, I need to have my wife on the slide. I don't know. She doesn't like working out together. Like one time we was doing the video thing, and and our times are different. Working in the evening. She's currently at work right now, so our schedule doesn't let us do it. Now, before we had our son, we had some times together, but now our schedule doesn't allow us to work out together. So usually I'll work out alone and she'll work out alone. But that's my household. Okay. Sometimes you do need some encouragement. Sometimes I need some encouragement and sometimes she needs some encouragement. So I do still encourage her. I'm like, hey, go to the gym. Don't forget to go to the gym. And sometimes she'll encourage me. And, and that's what works at my household. I'm done.
Thank you, Jeff. Go ahead to you, Steve. Steve, when it comes to working out, when it comes to getting our physical on, should we do it together? Should we do some together, some separate? What say you, Steve?
That's just times we need to go together. Most of the times it's better to do it together because when you're together, it's kind of security for both, and it's kind of good for a relationship. To make a relationship healthy, you better run together. You better go to the treadmill together. You go to the swimming together. You go to the gym together. No problem. That's one of the good things to build your relationship in, and that's because all the other time you are busy in your work, you're doing a lot of things, you don't have time. Now this is the best time for 2 hours you're together. Let her go in the Zumba and let her dance, let her shake her hips and body and everything. You do your weightlifting, fine. Then in between you look at each other, you wave at each other. That gives you the more courage, and that makes you more focused, and you try to shape up. When you're together in a gym and you're looking at the other men, they're fit, you got to get fit, come on. So that gives you more motivation. And when your partner is with you, you have to do more, because definitely it's, when there are so many hot guys around and your women is there and you're there, so you got to gear up, man. Come on, that's one of the good things to do together. Okay, over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much, Steve. And I'm going to go back to something that my namesake said earlier at the beginning of the show. And that is, what works in one man's household does not absolutely have to work in another man's household. So this is another one of those areas where you have to try it and see if it works. For some couples, it does. For some couples, it does not work. And that's not an excuse for you not to get your exercise on. If it doesn't work, then you just have to do it the way that it works for you. We know the lady may be trained in it and the man doesn't want her to tell him what to do, or the man may be telling the lady and she don't want him telling her what to do. So it's all depends on the couple. If you can
That's
do it together,
what it is. That's exactly what it is.
yeah. It depends. The point here is that we need to be working out. We need to get that physical on because we need to be in our holistic health, our spiritual, our mental, and our physical health. All of that plays a part in us having a healthy relationship. Because who wants a spouse that is out of shape by choice? All right, here. Yeah, who wants a spouse who's out of shape by choice? I don't know. So I want to ask this question before we're coming up to the top of the hour, and before we turn it over to the ladies to close us out with prayer. Although we've answered this question before, on other shows. We're going to come back to it because it's one of the top questions, and that has to do with the needs of a man and the needs of a woman. Of course, we say, I don't say, the statistics say that a woman's need for love has to deal with security from the most part, and for men, respect. So the question is, the ladies like to know, what do we men, how do we define respect? Steve, going to you first this time, brother. How do you define respect? And make it quick, please. Are you with us, Steve?
Well, Jeff, I do have a network concern. I could not hear you, and it's really, volume is low. And can you repeat a little bit more?
Yeah, the question
What are you
is,
trying to say?
how do you define respect? How do you, as a man, define respect?
How do I do what?
How do you define respect? If you want a woman to respect you, what does it sound like? What does it look like?
Okay, you asking me how do I define the respect that women respect, or men respect women?
A woman respecting you.
All right, that's pretty much like for women. Always, when you are in a relationship, respect is understanding. Respect is definitely taking care of your needs as well. Like when you are hungry, it's said that when a man is hungry, he is angry. So same way, that would be one thing. Second would be, of course, you respect is when a woman don't let his man to cheat on her. What happens when women don't understand that point of time and they try to act, nag, and do all those things, and that man tries to run away. What happens? And respect is when she is ready all the time, going with all over wherever you want to go together. Respect is that you care each other's emotions. You don't go ahead and disrespect your man in front of anyone or at the home. You're not going to raise your voice. You're not going to go ahead and say something which is going to make him embarrassed in front of the other people. You're not going to post anything. You're going to always support your man, whatever he's doing. Just trust him and be around and keep eye on that. That's right. But don't go ahead and push him so hard and say things and use your tongue as a knife or a honey jar. It depends. So, but if it's used as a knife, that's not respect. So that means they have to respect and be as a honeybee. And when a man says, "Oh, you're my honey," so that's respect. So be a honey to your husband and be the woman for your husband. Or your man. It's said that either be a woman for your man, or sit down and let your man see the other woman, who is standing at the back. So that's respect. Don't let him go to the other women. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. That's a very interesting perspective. With consideration of the time, we're going to write to Jeff. Jeff, can you define for us? Tell us, how do you define respect as it relates to a woman giving you respect?
I think, when we make a decision, you back your husband up on the decision. I think that's, a major thing. And again, like somewhat what Steve was saying, like, do you know our vulnerabilities, right? We open our heart to you. And you're going to get to know our weak points and our strong points. And, don't take advantage of our weak points. So I think this with respect comes in with there. And it goes both ways. And hopefully I'm making that clear. I mean, that's a great question, but you have to, if you don't respect your man, right? They might go out and they get respect from someone else, right? And then that's when they go out. So, that's what I think it's very important. I think respect goes, both ways. Like the story I told you of my cousin, back each other up, you know. If your wife want to start a business, you guys talk, and as long as the household is taken care of, back her up, and vice versa with the man too as well. Running a business is not easy, you know, and you have great times in the business, you have low times in the business. So you have to ride the wave together, and communication. And again, I'm done, and I will be leaving in a few minutes. I'm going to go into my car. I'll probably be still listening in. But again, Pastor Jeff, nice to meet you again. Great conversation. And I hope my answers was valid. I hope it was helpful to the room. I hope my answers was helpful to our lovely ladies here in the room.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much, Steve. Your answers are absolutely valid because they're your answers. And with that, you reminded me I do need to give the disclaimer. I normally do this at the beginning of the show. And that is that the opinions of our guests are indeed that. The opinions of our guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions or the thoughts of Renee Noor, the board, or the GW3 Global Club, or the Global Women Wealth Warriors. And that's to include Pastor Jeff. So with that being said, looking at the time, I'll have to come back and give my definition of respect at another show. I've got to turn it. I'm 2 minutes on the other side of turning this over to the ladies. I don't know which lady's taking it, but whichever one, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to you so you can pray us out and give your last comments. I don't know if Renee, are you available?
I am available. And as I see your handsome face, guys, let's go ahead on and put some more black and white hearts in the chat for our very own Pastor Jeff, as we're going to be shutting down the live show, as we're going to be closing out the official room for the Tom Ford Fridays. Can everybody please unmute and let's give some love to Pastor Jeff? Woo, 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 woo. Absolutely love everything you do. And today's episode was incredible, incredible, incredible. Guys, this is how we do it every Fridays for the Tom Ford Fridays with Pastor Jeff and friends. You just never know what man is going to inspire us, motivate us, but most importantly, we're going to build these stronger relationships based upon communications. We have Miss V. We may have Miss Nikita alongside with Miss Janet, Limitless, Steve, Vernita. We have a house full. And I just want to say thank you, Pastor Jeff, as we're closing down the live version of the GW3 Live, Tom Ford Fridays. Please provide the information for how people can get in contact with you, Pastor Jeff. And then we'll close down the show.
MeetPastorJeff.com. That's simple. www.meetpastorjeff.com. No dots in between. MeetPastorJeff.com. www.meetpastorjeff.com has all of my information on my digital card. With that, again, we absolutely love you. Look forward to seeing you right here again on next week. Over to you, Renee.